Actually, I've been contemplating a little bit, and I realized that in the thousands of words, maybe millions of words of Satsang, what is really important? What is really important? Is remember that God is here. Here means within yourself. And the self is not the body, of course. But within yourself, God is here. And to simply remember Him in whatever way we can is spirituality. Is to remember that in whatever way we can is spirituality. Because suffering is only a forgetting. Suffering is only a forgetting that God is here. But the thing with the suffering is that initially it seems very attractive. Maya seems very attractive initially and seems very fulfilling and satisfying initially. But once you jump into the pool, you realize that the water is too cold to swim. It seemed like an oasis. So spirituality is just to remember that this is not my true home. My true home is to be with God. And then we don't have to abandon the swimming pool, but we can allow God to do the strokes. Whatever swimming has to happen, we are just carried by God. The first few days when we go swimming, like I learned swimming at 50 now because of this condition. Then if you go with someone, they will say, don't worry, float, we will hold you up. So then our life becomes just like that. You know that God is holding us up. We have to just do the drama of doing our swimming. So the problem is that how can you stop the forgetting? That's it. Whatever works for you. If you take a dedicated attempt to constantly remember His name, to repeat God's name, that will keep you from forgetting. If you have reminders around you, whatever works for you. Then what to do when we recognize that we have forgotten? Remember, instead of just beating ourselves up over the forgetting. Suppose, all these are very personal examples. Suppose you have a child who lives overseas, and one day you forgot to call them. So now, when you remembered, you forgot to call them, should you spend the next day saying, oh, I'm so bad I forgot to call them. Then spend 2 days like that. Then the next day say, oh, I have not called them for 2 days now. You see the trick in that? So the instant you remember that you forgot, you return to God. So you call them immediately. That's it. Now, which phone line goes to God? What is the... Could you be dialing the wrong number to God? So, suppose you remembered that you have to go back to God. And then you start thinking, okay, but I will call God. But what is the toll-free line? What is the best connection? What is the best? So you spend so many days figuring out the best way to call instead of just calling. You feel like you could dial a number by mistake and God will say, no, this is the wrong number. You know what I mean? So the method is secondary. It's not so important. The way in which you remember God is not so important. The intention to and to jump in and actually do it is important. So whether you say Ram Ram or Krishna Krishna or Jesus Jesus or Allah Allah, it doesn't matter. No name fully describes him and no name is too small for him. So don't get into these traps at all.